What up, Sauce Gang, and welcome back to the channel. Hot Sauce Beats here with another history lesson reaction for you. That is right, we are back with some more Oversimplified, and today we are checking out Hitler Oversimplified Part 1. Now, I'm hyped for this because I don't really know much at all about Hitler, other than just the dude was like the purest form of human evil and tried taking over the world and killed a lot of people due to it. And I also know he was like, before the World War started, he was declared like Times Man of the Year. That's how crazy this was. So we are about to check out our favorite history teacher, Oversimplified, tell the story of Hitler, and I'm beyond hyped for this. But before we do, make sure you show Oversimplified some love by subscribing to their channel. And if you enjoy my reactions, smash that subscribe button because it greatly helps. But enough talking, let's get to reacting and roll that bomb ass intro.
Hot Sauce Beats is finally here. Hot Sauce Beats is finally here. Eat, sleep, make beats. Eat, sleep, make beats.
Hot Sauce Beats. Woo -hoo. Oh, let's get our learn on, chat. Hitler.
Look at this baby.
Is that baby
So
Hitler?
gentle, so innocent. You'd think this child would grow up to become a good man, an honest man. Well, think again.
Think again, because that's baby Hitler. Imagine he actually was born with that mustache. Warning! Warning!
Hitler was born Adolphus Hitler in 1889 in a small town in Austria-Hungary. His father, Alois Schicklgruber, was born out of
Schicklgruber? Gruber! That's from Die Hard.
wedlock, but eventually changed his name to that of his stepfather, becoming Alois Hitler. Alois was a mid-level Austrian customs officer.
Hitler
not
could
really
have
rolling
actually
in
been
cash, but
Hans
certainly
Gruber.
rolling in women. He married a rich, older lady, but then immediately started having affairs, including one with a much younger house servant. A few years later, he left his sick wife to be with his mistress, but since the Catholic Church didn't allow divorce at the time, he couldn't marry her.
I'm watching you! I see you having an affair! I'm watching you!
He waited for his old wife to die and had a child in the meantime. Then his wife died, so he married his mistress and had another child, but then his new wife got sick, so he employed his much younger cousin Clara to take care of her. Then when his new wife died,
Dude, this is a family story that's hard to keep track of, fam. No wonder he tried taking over the world.
he immediately got Clara, his cousin, pregnant, and then married her. In that order, you rock star. Clara and Alois had three
So you want to be a rock superstar? Live large, big house.
children together, who all tragically died while in infancy. So when the
What?
fourth child, Adolf, came along, Clara spoiled him rotten. The Hitlers had 2 more kids, and the family moved around a few times, meaning Adolf had to attend 5 different elementary schools. Adolf's father was
Do you think he was picked on with that mustache? Yeah, see? I'm a Hitler, see?
strict, quick to anger, and took most of it out on the eldest son until he had enough and ran away at the age of 14, leaving 7-year-old Adolf to do most of the chores and get berated by his father. The result was a difficult relationship with his dad while he was super attached to his mother, who
Now, if I remember correctly, isn't Hitler Jewish? Right? Which makes no sense why he tried killing his own people, right? Do I remember that correctly?
worried over him and his health excessively. Hitler did well in school at first. His grades were good and his teachers praised him.
sorry.
He was popular with the other kids and enjoyed gathering them together to play war games. He also loved reading and particularly liked
He liked war games. Would you have imagined that? Hitler's favorite game as a kid was to murder countries.
stories about cowboys and Indians. As he grew older though, he started to get into trouble. He was caught smoking once, organized a raid on a local orchard, tormented his pro-Austria religion teacher with symbolic gestures, displaying his allegiance to the idea of
He organized a raid of an apple orchard, bro. We're gonna take all those apples. But Adolf, they're not yours. Oh, they're ours. We deserve those apples.
united Germanic people under a greater German state in defiance of Habsburg Austria. You know, the usual. All of this enraged Adolf's father, who punished him severely. The area of Austria-Hungary that Hitler lived in was once part of the German Confederation, and many of the people who lived there considered themselves to be German. Adolf tended to just go against whatever his father said, and since his father was an Austrian public official, Hitler got big into German nationalism. This enraged Adolf's father, who punished
Spanked
him
him some
severely.
more.
Around this
He got
time,
all
a
the
family tragedy
spankings.
struck. His 6-year-old brother, whom he loved a lot, died of measles when Adolf was 10, and was buried in the cemetery just across from their home.
Oh yeah, you could see it out of his room. I do remember this. I do. Not from this video, but I'm saying from this story. Like, they were saying that's part of the reason why he was like crazy, was he could literally from his bedroom see his brother's grave and it would torment him or something like that.
Around this time, neighbors reported a change in the young boy. Strange behaviors such as talking to trees and staying up late staring at the stars from the cemetery walls. He lost interest in religion and his school grades started to decline, which enraged his father, who punished him severely. It also didn't help that he had just entered high school, and the cool city boys treated him like a rural peasant. He had to repeat a grade and had little interest in most school subjects, instead spending his time reading.
I'm not gonna feel bad for you, Hitler. I don't care, bro, what happened when you were a kid, because as an adult, you kind of became an a-hole. I'm just throwing that out there.
And drawing, which he was quite good at. One day his father said, "Son, someday you'll be a big balls public official like me." And Adolf replied, "No, father, I'm going to become an artist and soar high above the clouds with the eagles." This enraged his father, but by this time he was an old-ass man, so he just sort of let it go, and then died of a lung hemorrhage. Hitler just about passed his final semester and celebrated in the typical way, by getting blackout drunk and wiping his ass with the certificate. However, he didn't take the overall final school exam, instead just dropping out. The now 16-year-old boy was unemployed, without much purpose in life, and for the next 3 years, he stayed that way. He spent most of his time at the opera with his only friend, August Kubizek. Kubizek later wrote his memories of the young Hitler, and said he was passionately interested in many things, felt he was in many ways better than others his age, was quick to anger just like his father, and an incredible speaker once he was ranting.
Dude, just imagine that, bro. Like, your claim to fame is, yeah, I used to be best friends with Hitler. We used to kick it. We used to talk about how we wanted it, like Pinky in the Brain. What we gonna do today, Hitler? Same thing we do every day, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
When he was 18, he said a very sad goodbye to his mother and went to Vienna to take the entrance exam for art school. He failed. Soon after, he had to return home. His mother was sick and her health was rapidly deteriorating. Hitler stayed by her side, and when she eventually died, the family doctor said he had never seen someone so overwhelmed with grief as Hitler was. Then Hitler returned to Vienna, still hoping to find a career in the arts, but he never did. Instead, without parental support, Hitler ended up on the streets. Now in his early 20s, he spent a few rough years living in and out of homeless shelters, making what little he could from selling postcards he painted. It's hard to pinpoint exactly when and how Hitler's...
imagine trying to survive on that. You're a postcard seller. Hey, you want to see my custom postcards, guys?
Extreme ideological beliefs formed, but his time in Vienna would have certainly played a role. Anti-Semitism was widespread in the city. The mayor, whom Hitler supported, was an outspoken anti-Semite. There were many right-wing, anti-Semitic newsletters, which Hitler took a keen interest in. He bought into the conspiracy theories and became a...
You guys also got to remember, right? So Hitler grew up, after World War I had happened. So Germany had been destroyed, like split apart. They're in poverty now because they got to pay back for the war crimes. Germany's not doing so hot.
Firm believer in the idea that there are many races in constant struggle with one another, the purest of which were the German Aryan people, and the worst of which, he believed, were Jews. Since Austria-Hungary was a multi-ethnic empire full of lesser races, Hitler wasn't a fan. So when he was 24, he moved to Munich in Germany to avoid doing military service, and for one more year he was a drifter on the streets, until something huge happened. In 1914, long-standing tensions in Europe erupted into the First World War. Crowds across Europe celebrated the news. Within days, Hitler volunteered for the German army. The war gave him a purpose in life. His fellow soldiers gave him friendship and brotherhood. Despite the horrors of war, Hitler considered it to be the best time of his life. He was reportedly a brave soldier and was awarded the Iron Cross, first class. He was also very lucky and had many close encounters with death. His luck ran out in 1916, however, when an artillery shell injured his leg. He went back to Germany to recover and was outraged to find a general apathetic anti-war attitude.
I need a nap. I'm tired.
Among the exhausted
I need a nap, chat.
With the war turning against Germany, he returned to the front lines, but was temporarily blinded by a British gas attack in 1918. A month later, still recovering in hospital, Hitler learned of Germany's defeat and surrender. The terms of the peace treaty were tough on Germany. It had to pay a lot of money and lose a lot of soldiers. These conditions weakened Germany and humiliated the German people. Europe's borders changed after the war too. New countries were formed out of Russia's lost territory, Austria-Hungary was dissolved, and there was one big new country splitting Germany into two. Hitler, seeing the country he loved humiliated like this, said that hatred grew in him for those responsible, by which he meant communists and Jews, who he believed had stabbed Germany in the back by spreading dissent and anti-war propaganda back home.
He's gonna hate for a while. Oh, let's go! Oh my God, chat, let me bring you in, Dude, OverSimplified. Chat, what is OverSimplified's name? I feel so weird just keep calling them oversimplified and they. Let me know. Dude, the way that they tell this story, it's so good, and again, it just draws you in, and it makes learning fun, and that's what is so tough to do, is to find a way to make a subject fun to learn about, and Oversimplified has done it. Again, I'm not gonna feel bad. No, I will not. I refuse to feel bad for Hitler, the way that he was raised. We all struggled. I was bullied pretty severely as a kid, picked on, and you know, life is not all peaches and cream, and just because we you know, struggled as a kid doesn't mean we could go psychopathic serial killer for the whole world. But dude, this was amazing. I'm really excited to see part 2, and then we get to jump into World War II. You know, I'm stoked to learn about that. So I'm hoping you guys are enjoying this oversimplified journey we're on. I'm absolutely loving it. So again, make sure you show Oversimplified some love by subscribing to the channel. And if you enjoy my reaction, smash that subscribe and like button. It's absolutely free and it greatly helps out the channel. Enjoy the rest of your day. And remember, it's eat, sleep, and make beats. And as usual, be kind to one another. And that's all I got. Boom, I'm out. Got nothing but love for the Sauce Gang. Don't be like Hitler, chat. Boop, boop.